Hello and welcome again to Conversations with Mrs. R. My name is Marian. Always a pleasure and privilege being with you. And of course, here with us is Mrs. R herself, Mrs. Raffo.
Thank you.
Welcome
Thank you, Marianne.
again. You
Thank
looking
you.
good?
Always nice to be here.
Fantastic. Always great to have a conversation with you. And we said the last time we were here that we'd be taking practical questions
Yeah.
and trying to, unpack a lot of things. And so today, one of the questions we'll take is someone who called into a show, and she said to me, she said, "Oh, she's been dating this guy for about 6, 7 months, and that her birthday was coming up, so she wanted to test him." She said she uses an iPhone 12, and he knows that's what she's using. But she just wanted to test him. And so she told him that her phone was bad. And that to her surprise, he bought her one of these tiny phones that people just use. She said, is those phones are just very tiny that sometimes you give your workers and all that. And that she thanked him. She thanked him very much, but that she's now wondering, is he a selfish man? Because she said he just changed his phone from a 14 to a 16. And then she just felt that, I use a 12. I told you my phone was bad. And on my birthday, you gave me something this small. And so she wanted to know, is this someone to stay with or just move? And I was like, wow. And before I could even have an answer, because it was a phone-in show on radio, about 4 men called in back to back, and they all were complaining. The first one said, that is why people will get into trouble. You're looking for who will pay your bills. The second one said, okay, what if I buy it for you and I don't feel anything for you? Because, well, we know Lagos girls, with money, you can get any other girl. The third guy was just angry. He was just literally angry and was like, Marian, I'm just tired. Why must he buy you a phone? Why are you testing him with that? Is that a test? Is this what women are looking for?
Yeah.
Because if this is the test to see if a man is a good man by testing with this, is this what he said to me, Marian, is this what you people are now looking for? Is this the test? And so I thought, this is so real now, because even on the internet now, we hear, oh, if he cannot do this, he cannot do this, he's not man enough. And then the men say, I don't have money yet, so I can't taste any girl, and he's 35.
Yeah.
So this test, and I thought it was a good thing to bring here.
Yeah.
This test, is that the test now? And are we on a path that might just lead somewhere else? I mean, it's not bad for your partner to take care of you. Of course, it's fantastic, but 6, 7 months of dating and you're testing him with an iPhone.
Yeah. Very interesting. It's interesting, but it's sobering because I've had opportunity to have conversations with a few young men, and they actually, in some cases, are opting to marry young ladies who are not Nigerians. So I asked them, that's what led to this. And I asked them, why are you doing this? Why are you going for women from other countries? Said, because they find our own ladies here to be quite materialistic. And I'm not generalizing. I'm just sharing the information that they gave me. And this is like, you talk to 5 young men who are in their 30s and ought to be married. And they're telling you that they're finding it difficult to decipher whether the women really love them or
is what they can give them.
Or what they can give them. And I keep saying to them, no, not everybody is thinking that way. Where are you looking for these ladies? Who are you interacting with? But there must be some truth there, and based on what you have said. So it also bothers me because people are not necessarily thinking of the time clock, and time clock not in a negative way, but just the reality of the timing of life, okay? So if you marry at 38 and you have your first child at 40, that child is 10 when you're 50.
50, wow.
So
Wow.
where that child is 20 when you're 60. And at 60, if you don't have investment in place, your earning capacity is dwindling. Your energy is dwindling. Your value in the marketplace. There is a reason why people are asked to retire at 65. You can quote all the 60, 65, you can quote all the scriptures. You're not going to be at 65 who you were at 30.
Exactly.
Okay. So that means that people are not, that's what I mean by just the seasons of life. Not the pressure on the biological clock that makes you feel irrelevant. But so when you think about that, you ask a 38-year-old man, why are you not married? And he says, I can't find the right person. But my question to him is, where are you looking for the right person? Who is this right person? What are the values that define the right person? Okay, so that's on one side. Then to the ladies, for those people who are looking at a transactional relationship, what conclusion are you going to draw from testing a young man with the purchase of a mobile phone?
Yeah, exactly.
That also could speak of the shallowness of your thinking. That's how many aspects of his character are you going to analyze from just the mobile phone? Are you looking for someone who can pay the bills and walk away and go to another 5 ladies? Or are you looking at someone who will love you, care for you, a kind-hearted man? He's got potential. He may not have the whole package at this point in time. And he's not supposed to. In fact, if he has, then you have to check that there's something wrong with him. How did it come? So that's another aspect.
And that is scary because we're not asking questions.
We're not asking questions.
Sometimes he's only 28 and he has a house, he's got 2 cars. We're not asking
and
the
we're
questions.
Okay with it.
We're okay, we're just happy. Oh, thank God. And you're moving into the Banana Island house at 28. When did he finish school? What job is he doing?
Yes.
Everybody's a remote worker.
And then the other thing is, I can't when we left school, we got married. I've been married for 37 years now. We got married in our early 20s.
Wow.
So for the people of today, that would have been a risky venture because I married at 26 and my husband was 30. What do you have to your name at 26 and 30? Nothing. And parents at that time, even when they had, they were not going to bring out the largesse.
And just say, everything's packaged for you.
A friend who is in his 70s now once told us that even though his father was very wealthy and they lived in VI, the father ensured that abroad, every time he was on holiday, he worked in Kentucky.
Fried chicken.
And one of those ones in the UK.
McDonald's, KFC.
He didn't realize how much his father had until the old man passed away.
Wow.
And but he made him work every holiday in those kind of restaurants. What were they teaching? Today, that has become a responsible grandfather who's multiplied the wealth that was left him. So the point I'm making is, it didn't occur to us to be materialistic. We came out of university, and I look at the percentage of my contemporaries, and I would say, by and large, the marriages have done very well. Do you know why? Because we didn't marry those men for what they had. We married them because there was genuine love and value for their own character. And it's worked because when you weather the storm with people, you nurture the relationship and you nurture a bond that is not easily broken. Because you were in the thick of the furnace together and you built. So you didn't build based on materialism. You built together the home from scratch. And there is a bonding that comes with that. So I want to really encourage young ladies. And I did say to a 40-year-old lady who was at this stage of also looking at materialistic values before marriage. I said to her, do you know a 40-year-old man can marry a 25-year-old girl and there'll be no stir.
No issues.
But a 25-year-old woman cannot propose to a 40-year-old man. So the women have to be wise. And then at 40, you're not looking for the man you should have looked for at 25.
At 25, exactly.
So you have to also have this ability to be sensitive to the changing of your own seasons, to make the necessary adjustments so that you don't miss your cycle and miss the season of response.
And, you know, another thing I would like, because I always want us to do both sides. So this is the young, and then the parents. Are parents asking enough questions? I remember growing up and being in University of Lagos, and if a young guy come to look for me in the house and he drove a car, my mom would ask a question, why is it right? I'm like, mommy's just his parents' car.
Did he ask the parents if he could
drive? Oh God, you're my mother. She would say, do his parents know he's driving this car? She had so many questions.
Yes.
And then when I started working, she said something to me. She said, anything you can't afford for yourself, don't expect somebody else to buy for you. She just said, she said, why are you looking for, so this boy that is driving a Jeep,
yes,
and you're both contemporaries, why can't you? So she always said, Marian, anything you can't buy for yourself with your own money that you worked 30 days for,
yes,
it'll be greedy of you to expect somebody else who also worked 30 days like you to buy for you. So I cannot buy a hair of 1 million.
Yeah. They have hair for 1 million.
Mrs. R, we don't want to go there. So, Mrs. R is the wheels are turning. So the role of parents now.
Oh my goodness!
When your daughter is bringing, are parents asking questions?
Yes. Well, I like to feel that there's still a good number of responsible parents who should be. But now you say that, it's interesting because in our growing up, they would even ask your name, your surname, who are your parents? You'll be quaking in embarrassment. And is it if you say Mr. Peters? Mr. Peters, who was was he in Leventis?
Exactly.
Or was he in
or you see the tribe and you say, I used to have it. My mom would say, my friend used to be from this part of... like, mommy.
Yes, but that's what it meant when you said it took a village to raise a child.
That's true.
They were teaching you by those questions that community was important, and the approval and investigations of community were important. They were not necessarily saying don't marry that person, but they were saying marry based on information. Information that is truthful, information that is honest. So, and they made it their responsibility. You knew your neighbor. You observed your neighbor. You knew when he was driving a small Volkswagen, and he couldn't just come up from that point to a Range Rover.
Exactly.
The neighborhood will query. There'll be whispers.
Whispers, that's the word.
But that doesn't happen now. So by the time that man who went from a Volkswagen to a Range Rover, his son comes to meet you, there'll be whispers again. Let us ask questions. And there is something about Christianity that has seemed to take away that value.
Yes, cover.
Yes, but I don't think it's right either. You saw Abraham sent Eliezer to take Isaac back to his hometown to find a wife. So there is still something there. Abraham did not choose. Of course, he knew the covenant commandments and all. But I think it was instructive that Eliezer was supposed to go back because they would know the history there. There would be connections within that community. And Abraham knew it would be safe to bring a wife from there. It's a good thing. And it's a good thing to ask questions. And parents should not be materialistic to the detriment of their children. You have to ask questions. We also can put pressure. The young man, his house is where? In Ajawo. Ajawo Estate is even good. where did we parents start? So you want the child to marry someone who's living in Lekki or
Where
living
you
in
are.
VI. And then there is something also going on. The moment the husband or the wife, whoever was the major earner, falls in financial estate, it becomes a problem. Nobody wants to be patient to watch the recovery. As soon as the tide changes,
No.
you can't buy me that handbag.
I can't.
I have to face my life. So there's a lot of also self-love.
Exactly.
It's not going to inconvenience me. This marriage we are going into, the moment the generator backs up, and you can't get solar, you can't replace it, I'm off. So we're breaking up these relationships for little or nothing, and we're forgetting the children who are in the midst of this whole breakup package. Let me give
I like
you
the word you said, a little inconvenience.
a little inconvenience. Now, I want parents to remember something. Marriage is like putting two pieces of paper together, glued tightly. You can, no matter how careful you try to pull them apart, you're not going to get two holes anymore.
Yes, that's true.
There'll be fractions, no matter how careful. Those fractions are the children. So when you talk to people now about staying together or trying to encourage them to weather the storms, it will pass. These are just life unfolding in a broken world. But God has given us the equipment to cope. He instituted marriage, and he didn't plan it to be a wicked, locked room or a room of wicked, locked room full of wicked adventure. Do we go back to the manual? Do we go back to the maker? Is it a place where you want to see counselors? It's becoming so rampant, and people are not thinking about the significance and the impact on the lives of children. Marriage, whether Hindu, Buddhist, whatever the religion, is still painful when there's a breakup. Because the children are left floundering and wondering whether they are to blame for what has happened. And I'll give you a story, which I think we shared offline, of a young lady that was bedwetting. Even at 11, 12, she was. And having experienced that with a younger lady whose mom passed on when she was born, I took this young lady briefly into my home, and the bedwetting continued. One day, we were having a conversation, and I started to probe, because that pattern in her life made it impossible for her to make friends.
Yes, of course.
Her self-esteem, her confidence. She was like a shriveled old lady. And one day she told me, she said, I'm also blaming myself for the breakdown of my parents' marriage.
Oh my goodness.
And I said, why? She said, because shortly after I was born was when my dad left home.
Oh.
So what we were seeing
was a physical manifestation
of what is going on in her mind.
Oh my God.
So we had to get her to see a child psychologist. But the parents have moved on. The father, so I said, and she said, what makes it worse? My father doesn't want to be in touch with me. So that makes me really feel that I'm the reason why he left. The reason could be that the father doesn't want the interaction with the mother.
And so you are...
Or there are issues they're trying to settle about money. But this little girl is interpreting it to buttress her mind, telling her, you are the reason. Can you see now he doesn't even want to be in touch with your mom? So she's looking at the father and thinking, he hates me. And looking at the mom and saying, I'm the reason why she's suffering. Because he's not talking to her and she has no money to feed me. So when we walk away from marriage like that, and sometimes the pain doesn't manifest at that time, but 10 years down the line, the young lady begins to suffer the consequences of the divorce. And it affects her schoolwork, and nobody sees, we just always see are the grades that are not coming through. But nobody's asking what's the underlying reason.
Wow. I mean, I love how you've taken it, because a simple, a simple thing of what you should be looking for in a man is so important before you make the wrong decision that just snowballs into so many things. And I do hope that the conversation of materialism, because if you're married and you've been married for a while, you know that money is great for everybody and anybody, but in the reality of it, is a small component of a home. We have people that come from very rich home and say they never felt the love of
Yeah.
a father and a mother.
Never even saw their father.
Never saw them. And
Yeah.
you're thinking, you had all this. You lived, and you are thinking, hey, but they envy your life.
Yeah.
They grew up warped individuals, warped adults who reproduce the same thing they suffered. So money is important, but definitely is not the
Not
value
a bit
that-
at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me say something to parents. You know, we work very hard, and kudos to parents, because we are working to give the children the best. But you've just said it. What we think is the best for them is not necessarily the best for them. If you ask many children, they'd rather be at home with the parents, talking to them,
Yeah. That's the memory they remember.
yeah, playing with them, attending to them, sitting at the table with them, reading them a book, chatting, asking them questions, than and to give them money or a bank card
Or the
to
latest
go-
phone.
or the latest phone. That's really not. Some of them may be thrilled for a while,
For a while.
but that's really not what nurturing is about. So slow down. If you're working 15 hours out of 24, give up another 2 to interact with the children when they come home from school and from boarding school.
Yeah.
It will go a long way to ensuring that they're not pressured to the point where they're anxious.
Anxious. Thank you, Mrs. R. Always a pleasure talking with you. And I do hope that someone out there got an answer from this. It's really important. And like we said, money is fantastic. Money is great. It makes things easier, but it cannot be the bedrock or the platform. Because what if you start off great and things happen, then what next? Bible says learn to abase and abound. It's not just a line, is
a reality.
Is a reality, because nobody is up all the time. There will
Yeah.
be days where you're in the valley, but the point is that you know you can get to the next level.
Can I read you the poem for the child?
please
Dear
do.
child,
Go
in
ahead.
closing, I hope I didn't interrupt you.
No.
So, in a tribute to the Nigerian child and to our precious children, I wrote this poem. Dear child, you are the promise of a better today. You are my hope for a brighter world. Our expectations of you as parents are high, yet your constraints and challenges are many. But I want you to know that true greatness was never attained without a struggle, nor victory without a foe. We are our greatest foes. We battle daily with our self-esteem, our fears, our failures, and even our successes. Our self-esteem limits us. Fear immobilizes you. Failure discourages us. Success deceives you. There is a purpose for your existence, a destiny that awaits you. Please set your goals high and run with the vigor of youth. But above all, let your character speak beyond words. This rare treasure in today's world will bring you before the kings. I love you, children.
Oh, so in case you're always wondering where she's reading from, it's from her book. These are original poems. And you know, I'm somebody that I envy poets, because I'm a creative, but the only part of creative line that I do not understand or can do is poetry. I can write plays, I write stories.
That's good. I can't write plays.
Oh, for poetry. Yeah. So when I talk to a poet, I'm like, how? So in case you're wondering, original poems by Mrs. R, and it's from her book Shining Statues. I like the fact that the book is a book, but they're always poetry. Every chapter she ends with something. There's a poem that just relates. So if you're wondering, oh, Where is all this coming from? It's from her book, Shining Statues. Thank you, Mrs. R.
Thank
It's
you.
always a pleasure talking with you, and I'm always amazed at the amount of giftings that you have. It always truly blows me away. And I'm not just saying it always truly blows me away because so much giftings. And she's a lawyer, by the way. So for everybody wondering, it's actually because a lot of people wouldn't know that Mrs. Apple is actually a lawyer. So much grace.
I'm coming to learn how to write.
Thank you so much, Mrs.
Thank you. I
Always a
do speak
pleasure.
like you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being a part of today's talk. I do hope you'll be with us the next time. Of course, if you have questions, if you have issues that you'd like us, to talk to you about, you need help, you need counseling, there will be a lot of information on this page for you to get in touch with us because we want to talk with you. We want to walk with you through whatever it is that you're going through. It's a conversation with us and you to ensure that whatever it is that you're going through, we walk with you through it. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Marian. I'll see you again next time.